So I wanted to get a video of this. Hopefully I can even fix it. I don't even know about the weight of the house. So this bathroom floor was completely leveled so that they could put this floor in, right? And you can see the separation of the trim there. And here you can see that it's, real high right here because the whole floor right here sagged real bad. It goes all the way down into the basement like this. And the reason it does that is they didn't put the proper load on walls when they built the place. So you got these joists and they get cut off here. I thought this was the main load-bearing wall. Well, once I ripped this plaster out, found out, they're cut, they're nailed or whatever. But we just rewired the house too. I know this is going to be a separate video, so I'm just making that note. All of the load of everything over here is transferred to this wall, right? And it's, it's not a header, it's not proper. And then the worst part about it is all the load is causing this floor to sag, right? It sags here, it sags there. It's real bad, and then these steps sag like this, and I'll show you why it's doing that. The worst part is I wanted to rip all this subfloor out and redo it because I was doing a nice high-end full kitchen remodel in here. But if I cut this subfloor, everything's going to fall through because the weight of all of this is only being supported and the weight is transferred to the joist below it only because of the hardwood floor that it's sitting on. The hardwood floor was is underneath it, the subfloor. Literally, you can tell in the basement when you go and look. So my idea is to actually, the main beam's like right here. So I'm going to think to cut a little opening here, cut a little opening, run a 4x6 up, or even a 2x6 if I want to keep the thickness of this wall, and then run a 4x6 header in here to carry up this weight. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better. I don't know if I can actually fix it. I'm hoping to do the best I can and make it better. So down here, let me get my flash on. So down here, you realize, see this wall up there, right? So our 4x6 will go in that pocket. The only reason I kind of don't want to do that is this main joist here, realistically, is not being held on by much there. I mean, you got like a 1/2 inch sitting on this entire main beam. And that's all the weight from the bathroom sag all the way up in the hall, all the way down, because you got tons of weight on here, and the wood's actually mushrooming. And it's not, it's not in good shape. So there's a lot of sag here. Same with here. This is only about 1 inch in because the steps start right here. You got this cracking, and then the weight of this beam splitting, or pressing, mushrooming down. And then this is not touching at all. So that's a problem. So, this needs supported and all this needs jacked up. I had an idea of, and I got new wiring here that I'm going to have to move. But possibly if I get the 4x6 in there to block that, I was going to just sister another 2x8 here and then build a load-bearing wall here that transfers down to the concrete. So I got to see what I can do. I got some ideas. I'm just kind of like taking the before videos, and I'm sure I'll have a video during. Got a lot of old wiring to delete, but, because we rewired the house. I wish I would have done this before we wired, obviously, but it took me till today to realize how bad it was. So I got to get the sag of the house out. I got to do the best I can, or at least put something in place that'll prevent it from getting any worse. At least that's my goal. So the ends aren't rotten or anything like that. And the location of that other 4x6 will be right here. We have a nice open pocket. I'll miss the gas line. Should be able to fit right in here, and it'll go right onto this beam. So yeah, well, stay tuned, and I'll have an updated video of what I decide to do with this. So what's going on here? This is my temporary wall. So I'm individually jacking up each joist. And then once they remove the load from this wall that I'm going to delete from being a load-bearing wall, I put my fixed stud in and then let it back down, and it keeps the gap. So I got my new load-bearing beam in, directly transferring load down to the main house beam in the basement, right? So remember originally, I don't know what I recorded, had like a header going all the way across over to here, right? Well, the problem is transferring load, to here and to here, and where the joists are running, you see a joist running here, the other joist is here. So if this subfloor was cut, on the side of the joist and on the side of the joist, all this weight would just go down. There's nothing to support it here. Same with here. There's a joist over there and like over here. So that's why I wanted to cut the floor out of the way and transfer it directly down to the beam. So I have basically, 2 2x6s, 2 2x6s, only 1 2x6 here because of the thickness of this wall. But carries, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these joists here directly down to the beam. So that's in place, right? The problem is you still got these three joists that, this is the new load bearing point for these three, right? Coming from over to here. So this is able to be transferred down to a joist, but the reason you see so much sag here with the door frame, you clearly see that. And this 2x kind of bowing out is because, you got quite a bit of weight sagging here. So the only way to really fix this is rebuild all this. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because the biggest thing is I wanted to fix that and transfer most of that load, because that was a lot of load sitting on here. And it's already improved this sag of the floor significantly. You can still see the sag here, but oh my Lord, I mean, it used to be when you walked into it was way worse, because this entire wall sits in a spot between joists also. It's a nightmare. It's just very poorly built. But what I did downstairs for this half wall is I added some blocking or bridging between the joists to help transfer, because I want to cut that subfloor out and redo it because it's so messed up upstairs. So before I put down nice flooring, I want a good subfloor. So this wall runs right here, right between both joists. So literally, like I said, if I cut that floor out, all that weight would sag. Maybe it wouldn't fall in and cave in, but it would sag, and I'd never be able to get it back up really where I wanted. So these don't look like they're tight, but they are, because these joists are kind of bowing, right? So they're tight. I hammered them in there really tight. There was a bottom plate, like a 2x4 here, that I butted them up to, and then they're screwed in. So literally it should at least help transfer the weight over to these joists properly, right? But ideally, I really need to kind of rebuild everything up there. I don't know what I'm going to do. Down in the basement here, we added this joist. I don't know what I recorded. So the original one here that you can't really even see, this one was only on the beam, about a ½ an inch. So this one completely extends past, and it's carrying the load all the way down over into here. And then I built a wall underneath that transfers directly down to the concrete. So now the span that's not, being held up is just from here, this block wall, to the end of the new load-bearing wall. So that's in a lot better shape. Also added some blocking, bridging, whatever you want to call it. I was going to use 2x8s, but I have all this new electrical ran, and I didn't want to notch them and do that, so I just did this. That should also kind of help pull some load over, to this joist, because this span is too big. Like, these are all 16 on center, and then this one was like 20 or something, so a little bit helps. It's just, it's not perfect, but I'm just roughly trying to improve how sketchy it was, and then I'm really worried about, like I said, this being a big load point. So I'm going to end up cutting the concrete, I think, here, and going down 6 to 8 inches and pouring a nice footer here. And then putting one of the, these style jacks in line with this wall directly up to it, right? It should transfer perfectly. So then I got a nice base coming here, and then that should hold that all up. But that's definitely kind of what needs to be done. And then with my toilet here, I'm just going to move the water line over, and hopefully I can turn this. Hopefully, I haven't looked at the flange, but I measured it. I should be within the distance I need to be. I'm hoping I can turn it. And then I could still put a door here, possibly put a vanity in here. But ideally, the main goal is just a minimum have at least a toilet. I might even do a shower. I don't even know. I'm kind of taking one project here at a time. But that's what I did. It's updated a lot. This is the 2x6 from above there, you know, that goes straight up, comes all the way down to the beam, direct contact. Same with here, direct contact. And it's a lot better. It's amazing how improved it is, how it feels on just the floor upstairs. And then especially once we rip the old floor out of the way, because I'm sure it has some flex to it that's not going to come out. And then ripped out some of this stuff because I had to build my wall. This is all about to fall apart here. But the good thing is, got a nice wall to pull off of. And this thing's, holding a lot of load. So I can build my platform from the block directly over to the load-bearing wall. So that's the game plan, and I'm just kind of fighting whether I decide to reframe a bunch of stuff. Because all this plaster is all messed up. You see here it's bowed, so the only thing I was kind of worried about messing up was this wall, because this wall really still has to be a thin wall because I already have this in here and I have it turned, so I don't think I can really go sideways without ripping all of this down and completely redoing it. Maybe that's what it needs, though. Maybe it needs to do that, and that way it can transfer and I can put a proper header in here. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to end up having to do. I'm thinking I'm going to have to build a half wall right here, carry the load, and just rebuild this entire corner. I think it's going to be the only way to make it work. So we'll see. I don't know. I might just get lazy and leave it, because it's not bad. Like, you don't feel a significant drop. I mean, you used to feel it so bad, it was crazy. So I guess it just depends on how carried away I want to get. So, but yep, I wanted to get an updated video. It's probably all going to be in a big montage. I forget to record sometimes, so probably glazed over some stuff. But got all the rough electrical done, and then messing with this framing issue, because I want to get it done. Since we got the kitchen opened up, just go above and beyond and get everything done right. 2 new windows in, and I'm going to end up doing the plumbing. I'm going to do something with this plumbing. It's a mess over here, so yep. All right. Thanks for watching.